Guys, welcome to the Dom DIY. So if you're anything like me and you have a lot of bicycles, you're probably sick of them sitting in your hallway, in your way, scuffing up your walls, looking for a good solution for storage. And that might be difficult if you have a small place, apartment, condo, something like that. You don't have a big garage, you can't put your bikes in. So there's not a ton of options out there, but what I went with is this Venzo bike pedal hanging solution. So you put this on the wall where your pedal rests in here and holds your bike slightly off the wall. I'll show you in a minute. But anyways, I'll just show you what comes in the box when you get this. So it's pretty basic, just a 2-inch piece of metal with one bend, 3 holes in it, and cut for your pedal. It does have a nice rubber finish down here, so it's not gonna hurt if you have carbon pedals for your bike or something that you're worried about getting scuffed up. I don't think that will be an issue, but it just mounts flush against the wall, and then your pedal will rest in here. It also comes with mounting hardware. Comes with the sinkers if you're just putting in drywall, and then also the bolts. It's actually probably the one thing I will say about with this is, granted today's bikes aren't that heavy, so you'd probably be fine just with the sinkers mounting into your 1/2-inch drywall, but it's just slightly disappointing the size of this. Like if they had made it a little bit bigger, and you could have had the option to mount it into a stud, because it's only 2 inches wide and your stud's going to be 1.5 inches, so that was kind of the issue I had with it. I tried to mount it in the stud and it was a little bit difficult finding the right position in the wall where you could get more than one of these holes to line up. So I was happy with getting one, and then I just used the sinkers for the other ones, but I'll show you how I went about doing that. Okay guys, I'm here at the wall where I'm going to be installing this Venzo bike pedal holder. I actually bought 3 of them, and I've already installed 2 of them lower down on the wall. The third one's going to go up high, and I'll show you how I installed it. But before I do that, I actually want to show you on my wall where I had my bikes resting before, how much they get scuffed up, and which is why I wanted something like this. So as you can see, the wall is all scuffed up from where my bike used to rest. I actually have already cleaned this other wall where it's going to be going in preparation for this. You can see the holes where I have the first pedal holder marked up, and then the second one. I'm actually painting my walls right now, which is why I'm doing this to protect them. And I'll show you guys how I'm going to install the third one up here. Alright, so how I actually mounted the first 2 of these is I got someone to hold the bike where I wanted it on the wall, and then you put the pedal at the full vertical position, you hold it against the wall, and then you can put the pedal into the mount, and you can see where it rests on the wall where you want it, and then you just mark the top of the actual bracket for the pedal. Mark the top here, and then for me, I wanted it to be in a stud, so I didn't really worry about the axial position of it on the wall at that point. So I marked the top of it where I wanted it vertically, and then I just chose the side to side based on where the studs were in the wall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount, in this case, I don't have anyone to help me right now, and also I already have these 2 mounted, and my bikes are all pretty much the same size thereabouts. So I'm just going to measure the distance between my bottom one and the middle one, and I'll use that to determine where the top one's going to go. But to do that, I'm going to mount up the middle one so I can keep everything straight. Pretty simple, just going to screw it in the wall lightly to hold it there so I can do my measurements for the top one. Alright, so now you can probably see my middle pedal is in the wall. I've actually painted mine to match the color of my wall. I didn't quite like the black look on the white wall. So that's something you can do, and I'll show you how I do that when I do my third one. But now I'm just gonna measure the distance from the bottom one to here, and then from here up for where I'm gonna put my pedal in the wall, or where I'm gonna put my mount in the wall. Alright, so now that I have the vertical marked, I'm just going to use a level on the sides of this bracket to here to mount where I want the sides of my bracket to be. And this way, hopefully I'll notice. Like I said, I'm painting my walls, so I'm not too concerned about getting too many pencil marks on them right now. Alright, now I have lines on either side for the side position of the mount, and I also have the line of where the top two bolts in the bracket are going to go. So now I can just hold my new one up to the wall, and I'll be able to mark off where the holes to drill it. Alright, the only issue I had with that is apparently I'm too short to get up there. But alright, and now we'll drill our holes for the new bracket. Okay, so for this next part, I'm going to actually drill my holes into the wall. Sorry about the shadows, really no other way to do this. So I'm going to use a very small drill bit, and I'm going to go extremely slowly. So I can feel for if I hit the stud in the wall or not. Like I said, I've already done 2 of these down below, so I already know the stud is here, so I didn't actually use my stud finder. But when you do the first one, you'll have to use a stud finder if you want to mount in the stud to find where that is. So I'm just going to go really slow and try and feel for when the drill hits the drywall, so I know which ones to put sinkers in and which ones to not. Okay, so like I said, for this part, I'm going to go slowly when I drill my holes with a small drill bit, and I'm going to feel for if I hit the stud or just the drywall. So it will actually, you'll feel a noticeable difference if you hit the wood behind the drywall. Yep, so with that one I definitely hit the stud. You see how that one punched straight through? That was just drywall. So I imagine this is going to be the same. This is really hard to do with one hand, by the way. Alright, so this one in the top right is in the stud. That is not, and that is not. So what I'm going to have to do is get a bigger drill bit and drill holes for these sinkers in these two. Alright, I'll do that. Okay, so here I have my big drill bit and the sinker. It's about the right size. I actually bought some aftermarket sinkers. I thought the ones that came with the package were a little big and a little cheap. I had issues with these. The crappier ones of these bending when you go to put it in the wall. That's just good ones make a better deal. They're only like $3 for a 6-pack at Home Depot. So gonna use my big drill bit, and for the two that did not hit the stud, I'm gonna drill bigger holes just to get through the drywall. There's no need to go deep into the wall. And then I'm gonna go ahead and punch my sinkers in the wall. Gonna have to get a hammer to get that to go the last little bit of the way. Okay, so now the last thing I have to do is to actually go ahead and test fit my bracket. So I'm gonna go ahead and screw this in, make sure everything looks good, and then I'm gonna end up taking it down because I'm gonna paint mine. Alright, I'm just going to put the one screw in for now because it looks like the top ones are lining up perfectly. But now you can see how it looks. I'm just going to put the one in for now because I'm going to take it down and paint it. But now you can see how it actually looks on the wall. Mount it up. And so there's 1, 2, and then the third one, which is not yet mounted, will be down the bottom. Okay, so now I'm going to prep this to paint. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use some 220 grit sandpaper and rough up the metal surface so we'll accept the paint. I'm not worried about the rubber part, just this metal part here. Alright, you can see it's a lot rougher now, so that should hold the paint better than the smoother metal. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to clean it off with some alcohol, take all the oil off it, and then I'll paint it. Alright, so now I'm just going to use the house paint, the same color on paint in the wall to paint this. When I did the first two, it doesn't adhere to it with the easiest, so I took a few coats and it's going to do the same this time. It takes a while to dry on here too, so it's going to take a few hours to get all the coats and get it dried where it's going to look good enough to put it on the wall. Hey guys, Dominic here. It's the next day. I finished painting my wall and also finished painting my Venzo pedal bike mounts. And I'm going to go ahead and mount them up to the wall, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do to protect the wall where the tire goes. So, alright, so here they are. I have them mounted up, and I just used the level to make sure that they stayed straight when I was putting them in. So now I'm going to go ahead and put my bike up, and I'll show you how I plan to protect the walls where the wheels will rest. here's the finished product. All 3 bikes on the wall with the hooks on the wheels. And you can see how the pedals go. And there's 1, 2, 3. And they hang, it says 23 to 27 inches. For me, they're just out of the way of the door, which is perfect. That's what I wanted. So overall, what are my impressions of the Venzo pedal mount bike hanging system? Well, it's definitely the cheapest option. I think it was $15 on Amazon for one set. That being said, it's definitely not an all-inclusive package like some of the options are, where they come with the actual holders for the tires in the pedal mount variety. But it's a lot cheaper than the ones that come with everything, and the contact hooks are pretty cheap if you want to go that way. And before I had painted my walls, for whatever reason, there must have been enough friction because I didn't have the issue with the bike trying to slide down the wall. So I mean, you get what you pay for $15. I'm happy with it. It definitely works. It's cleaned up the clutter, and it keeps all 3 bikes out of the way. So I mean, I definitely recommend it. I think you get what you paid for, and if you don't mind going an extra step to paint it if you want it to match the wall, and then to get the contact hooks to keep it from tilting based on your walls, and then how to protect it and protect it from scuffing on the tires. But yeah, I'm happy with them. I recommend it, and I hope you like the video. Thank you.